Hey guys, this past week, if you missed, we were talking about forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not in temptation. Those were our specific petitions that we worked through in the Lord's Prayer. So I think we all know what forgive us our trespasses as God forgave us and don't lead us into temptation means. Do we really need to spend a lot of time on that? Well, here's what we did talk about. Number one, trespasses is just a fancy word, okay, for sins, okay, our trespasses. But I'm like, let's think about it this way. See this sign? We've seen these signs before, right? No trespassing. Don't trespass means don't move from this point over here to this point where it is now my property, like stay off, right? So we're not supposed to trespass onto certain properties because it doesn't belong to us, or it's just not safe, or there's other things. So God has this whole no trespassing thing going on with us, specifically because he doesn't want us to move from where he has things safe for us into where it's no longer the land we belong to. And what would that be? That would be where Satan is, right? It's the places where Satan is creating chaos in our world. And there's a lot of times where we're tempted to like move over into that world of sin and chaos and things that seem interesting from the outside. But once you get over there, you realize the danger you're in. And so God's like, stay out of that. It's actually using the word trespassing, right? Don't trespass into that land. It's a mess for you there. Stay where I have created you to stay. Follow me in this journey here on this part of things that is created for you. So when we say forgive us our trespasses, we're actually talking about ways in which we have crossed that line, an actual line. We have sinned against other people. We've done wrong things. We've gone to that land that we don't belong in. And God says, come back. I'm going to forgive you for that. The other question we brought up was, how easy is it for you all to forgive? Most people didn't feel like that was a really easy thing to do. Forgiveness is hard, but why? Well, because the whole point of forgiving someone is because they hurt you. And when we are hurt by others, we don't really feel like giving back to them. We feel like holding on to that and making them feel pain because of how they made us feel. So when we talk about being free with our forgiveness, it's not really an easy thing for us. But here's a quick scenario. When we think about somebody who's cheated us, think about people who have lied or betrayed us, where they've made us feel like we can no longer trust them. It can be where they told you they were going to give you something and they didn't. It can be where they said they would come over to your house, but then they ended up with somebody else and they didn't tell you about it and they kept it a secret. There's all kinds of ways we can be hurt by others and betrayed. And so, what about you? Are you free from ever having done that same thing? Maybe not in the same way, but have you ever lied? Have you ever cheated? Have you ever maybe hurt somebody else's feelings and maybe didn't even mean it, but you did it anyway and it was kind of an accident? The reality, guys, is that you and me have both done things to hurt people and things to hurt God. And we all need forgiveness. And so if I need the forgiveness because I'm doing these things wrong, I can't hold grudges against people and not forgive because I'm no better. And that's part of what this helps us understand. God is pointing out in this prayer that no one is better than anyone else. We all need it because we are all sinful. And God's forgiving us, so there's no reason if we sin and God is perfect, the only one who can point the finger is God. We can't point fingers because we're just as sinful. It's hypocritical. That's what that means. It makes no sense because we're just as bad. So therefore, if we're being forgiven, we need to forgive others. and let go of all the stuff that's holding on in our bodies and in our minds and in our hearts, because it makes us angry and it gives us a lot of, it takes a lot of energy to hold a bitterness and angry rage against somebody. Even if you're not raging, just to hold on to something you're not happy with takes a lot of power and energy to hold on to it. And God doesn't want that. He wants you to heal. So if you let that go and say, I'll forgive, maybe that other person doesn't even want your forgiveness. But if you let go of the bitterness and the anger and say, I'm going to forgive even if they don't want it, you now have a chance to heal. And that doesn't hold on to you anymore. And you're not holding on to it. And all that energy spent being angry can be spent for good. All right, it's a lot to take in this week. We'll see you guys next week. The workbook pages you need to do, if you missed, are going to be on pages 78 and 79. Oh, and we did start talking about the armor of God on page 80. It's a picture of that soldier there. It's a great way to consider, how can I protect myself from the temptations that are out there, the things that want to draw me in? How do I do that? And how does God give me tools to protect myself? Fill that page out and you guys will be all set.